And if you're watching on replay, thank you for popping in. Getting over a little cold. I'm learning that when you work with elementary kids, be prepared to be sick between the hugs and everything else. But I really just wanted to jump on and say you really have to respect the power of the positive people that you have in your camp. Sometimes when you're having doubts, sometimes when you're not in the mood, or sometimes when you're just wondering, why should you bother? The people that you have around you can hold you up and help reignite the flame that might be flickering, might be on the verge of going out. And for me, I try to surround myself with positive folks just for that reason. Just so when I'm having doubt, I know I have folks I can lean on. Not yes people. You don't want yes people on your team simply because there's no value to them. Excuse me. There's no value to them just giving you the answers that you want. Makes no sense. Then I'll give you an example. Yesterday I'm having a conversation with Keisha Green. And make sure you follow her if you're not following her here on Periscope, and definitely on Facebook and other social sites. Keisha Green and I are she's putting together, and she invited me to be a part of this Chat and Chew, which is going to be a series of get-togethers where she's inviting authors to have intimate conversations with readers. The readers would get a copy of the author's book. Food is going to be provided because it's going to be at a restaurant or some opportunity to have a meal. And she's preparing swag bags for the individuals who are going to be attending. So when they leave, they have something of value to take with them. And we're going to sit down and have just great conversation. A chance to get to know the people that read your work, as well as a chance for the readers to get to know what's going on in the author's head. Well, I can honestly say I was up in the air and kind of thinking, you know what, we got to make this happen. But I just wasn't in the greatest mindset. I just wasn't where my head needed to be at that moment. And in listening to Keisha talk and listening to her go over the plans for what she has and listening to her explain her thoughts of the future, with me included as part of the plans that we have, it helped me to realize that when you have people on your team, their positivity can reignite your own when you're having doubts. Now, I'm not a person that allows negativity to take hold for too long, but I'm human. I couldn't sit here and say that I don't. But when you have someone else that is reminding you of what the plans are, reminding you what they're doing, you then realize that you have to get back on your grind and do the things that you need to do. So I have to publicly thank Keisha Green for that. And thank her for just reminding me why we do this as independent business folks, why we do this as authors, why we do this as publishers, and the work that is required. No, mi español es un poquito, I'm sorry. What we have to do. And it's real simple. It's real easy, to get sidetracked. It's real easy to have doubt when trying to create. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate it. It is real easy to have doubts because sometimes that mountain can seem very, very hard to climb. But again, when you have positive folks, when she started explaining to me, the tickets that have been sold and how many tickets are left to be sold, and she started explaining to me, what the plan is after this particular event, what we can do going forward. And we started to talk about other plans that we had as authors and publishers and things like that. I found myself getting right back to the mindset that I needed to be. And thank you so much for the hearts. And please remember, if you can, share this with your friends and family. Share this with other folks. They might find this interesting too. What kind of books do you publish? How can I be in contact? Okay. I publish, I'm actually a literary service provider. I provide all the services that an author needs to take their book from their computer to the physical form. So we take care of all the guesswork, all the background work, everything like that. And so what we do is allow authors who are interested in doing it for themselves. We're not a traditional publishing company, and we're not a vanity press. We're a literary service provider. And so basically you're taking control of your book, taking your book from your computer and getting everything in place to now be able to go out and do what I do on a regular basis. And that's sell books, talk about books, or do whatever. And so Keisha Green is a promoter and marketer for authors. She helps set up the platforms to get the word out about your book. And she does a lot of things behind the scenes to keep your book in the now. And she provides services that authors need. But we're both independent, which means we do much, if not all of this, on our own. And so we have to surround ourselves with other independent folks who understand what is necessary to make this work. Thank you so much for the hearts. And so doubt can creep in because doubt sometimes is connected to frustration. But when you have accountability folks and you have other folks who are relying on you to do what you do, it is great to be able to contact them and say, you know what, I'm just not one of those days today. Or when they contact you. My contact information is KLBELVIN at bravinpublishing.com. www.bravin, BRAVIN, publishing.com. That's the website. And all our prices are listed on our website. I make sure that all the prices are listed so individuals that come to the website, individuals that come to the website will be able to see everything that's there. So there's no hidden nothing. And if there's anything you don't understand, my office voicemail is there, as well as my email is there too, so we can go over everything. Because I think what has to happen is I try to surround myself and link myself with folks who are making positive moves. Hello, how you doing? And we have to do that because to be able to compete in the markets that we're trying to stay in and remain in, you need support. And you're not always going to get financial support, but if you have folks that you can kick ideas around with, you can come up with ways, creative ways that are going to allow you to make money, as well as get your products in the hands of the people that need them or would like them. And so in this particular case, the Chat and Chew, May 4th, Woodbridge, New Jersey. It's an opportunity to sit down. I think we're going with 15 or 20 different folks. Sit down, have a meal, discuss books, discuss whatever they want to discuss. They'll get a copy of my book, as well as the swag bags are going to be filled with things that a person could use. And I just put a request out on Facebook. If business owners or other authors would like to have their materials given out in future events like this, feel free to contact me or Keisha Green, because it's a way to be able to promote what you do by giving discounts or giving samples or whatever. And that can go in the swag bags also. And then that makes it worthwhile for the people that come, which then creates the word of mouth for them to be able to say, I had a wonderful time, met a wonderful author, got a chance to meet and talk with the author, have a meal with the author, and then I left with goodies. And that's the purpose of what we're trying to do, is not just, oh, you paid us, you sat down, you got a book. It's yes, you're going to get a copy of my book, but you're also going to get other things that you can take with you that you can enjoy. Because I don't expect everyone that I meet to like what I write. I'm not silly like that. But if I can give you, and if Keisha can give you enough that makes you want to come back and meet different authors and gain more product, okay, so be it. This is what it is. And this is the things that independent authors and independent folks do, and that we call on the people that say they want something different. I see that written often, that folks are saying, I'm tired of the norm, I'm tired of the way things are and stuff like that. But then when there's independent folks who are really doing it, I mean, putting the time in, creating good content, good products, good services, you're not using them. Can't have it both ways. You can't say you're tired of the norm and then when something is different, not support it. And especially in certain communities where change is not as forthcoming as it should be, we have to really get behind folks like Keisha Green, myself, who are trying to do the things that are necessary and really make something from it. So that's the hope. So again, my name is KLBELVIN. I am an author. What's the time? Actually, I have to check. I think it's 1 to 4, 1 to 3 on the U.S. Man, you have to check that. You're on the phone. Check your phone. I'm not going to stop and check the time when you have a phone. Just check the time. Just put it in. Simple search. I didn't say you were from the U.S., but you can just put that same question in Google and you'll find the time from wherever you are in the world. I don't know why I would need to stop to do that. But anyway, but listen, these are the things you have to do. And now back to what I was saying is you have to make sure that you surround yourself with the people who can present to you the positivity needed to help recharge your own. People that are accountable and who are going to be firm, and sometimes who are going to need to put a foot. Hold on 1 second. I'm just not in the mood this morning. You have to have people who are going to put their foot to your backside, if need be, to keep you moving, simply because we need firm people around us, behind us, near us. Sometimes to undergird us, sometimes to pull us along, and it's sometimes just simply to stand there with us. Because it's not a singularity. It's not a singular process. When you're an independent anything, you need other people to be there with you. You need to have a circle. Some people like to create mastermind circles. Some people like to have accountability circles. Whatever you want to call it, whatever you need to have the individuals around you that when you're having doubt about the goal, not the goal, but having doubt that you're going to reach the goal, are going to be able to say, no, wait. Get yourself back up in this game. And they're going to pull you back up if need be, or remind you why the goal was even set. Another reason why you just can't keep everything close to the vest. Secrets, trade secrets, ideas, yeah, you keep some of that close to the vest, but you got to have people in your circle who understand what you're working on, who you're doing business with, who are doing similar things. Because by sharing with them the doubts that you may have, the frustrations that you have, they may say, I went through the same thing, do this, or I'm going through that now. Let's see what we can come up with together. And you hear some of the corny terms like 2 heads are better than 1. You know what? That's true. Because 2 people searching for a problem cut down on the time needed to find the answer. And like I said, I have to really give a public shout out to Keisha Green, because it gets frustrating, especially when, like me, I do inspirational faith-based stuff. Hello. I do inspirational faith-based stuff. So I don't do the sex and violence that a lot of people might be comfortable with, a lot of people might like, and a lot of people might love and pay for. I don't. So I know being an inspirational speaker, I know that being an inspirational writer, and I write inspirational fiction. What am I talking about is having positive people around you to keep you going when you might be having doubts. That's the point of the scope today. But I know what I'm passionate about. And I know what I'm attempting to do. And I know what I want to see done in this world. So the things that I want to see done in this world, I am being that. So I surround myself with people who are doing similar. But as I said, I'm still human. And so there's going to be times I have doubts. And that's when I call on people in that circle, people around me, people who have paid attention to me and might see, what's going on, KL? I saw a scope today. You didn't see me yourself today. And then being able to have that conversation. Or you can just call out and say, look, just not feeling it today. Or there's been times I've wanted to quit. Now, I don't know any independent business owner who has not been at that point that they almost want to throw their hands up and say, I'm done. I don't want to do this no more. I started this company in 2010. You have to have your back, but they have to have your back with a purpose. And that's what I was saying earlier about not having yes people around you, because yes people will make you believe you're Superman, and then you run and jump off the building. And you know what happens then. You're really not Superman and you lose it all. But you got to have the right people around you who are motivated themselves and who understand what role you play in their lives also, and who also have their finish line, but their finish line is in the same direction as your finish line. It might be mutual, might be the same finish line. But either way, having them travel with you helps when you just are dragging that particular day. And you got to be honest with yourself. I watch a lot of scopes, and I know a lot of business information is given out, and it's tremendous. There's a lot of folks doing extremely well. But you can't separate who you are from the business that you do. And if you know you're a person that doesn't finish things, then you got to make arrangements within what you're doing to make sure that when those things that kept you from finishing things in the past show up, you're prepared for them. And part of that is the camp that you have around you, the people that you have in your circle, the people that you trust with your ideas, and the people that you trust with your emotions, and the people that you trust with your money. Very important. And we tend to don't have those conversations. And when you start talking about faith and you start talking about what people believe in, people have this negative connotation towards religion. And I'm not talking about religion when I do what I do. I'm a faith-based person, meaning my faith is a part of who I am, a part of what I do. I'm not worried about what religious folks are doing. Some religious folks are kooks. But my personal faith is part of my push to what I'm trying to do, part of the change I want to see in this world. Like Gandhi said, be the change you want to see, and I'm trying to do that. And that's the reason why I surround myself with people who are doing positive things themselves. What's the best way to find a business partner? Well, think of your goals and think of what it's going to need, what you're going to need to achieve those goals, and then look for people that's going to be able to assist you in traveling in that direction. I mean, there's just certain people you're not going to add to the team if they don't have no value or worth. Think of how you would plan a trip, a vacation. Would you take your fur coat if you're going to the Caribbean on vacation? No. You would take the things necessary to enjoy yourself promptly. So business partners have to be picked the same way. You choose business partners based on, first, what do they do? What do they bring to the table? Hello. And how do you two mesh? So that's where you have to make sure that you have some type of understanding of what it is that you want in a business partner. Are you ready for a partnership? Some people look for business partners and they're not ready to do business because they're not trusting enough. When you bring someone to the table to work with, there's a level of trust that has to be there. Trust that they're going to do what they're supposed to do, and trust that you're going to bring to the table what you're supposed to bring to the table. And then you'll grow to have that trust with each other. As you knock down certain goals, as you get closer to the things that's necessary, your trust will grow. But also, you got to be careful of the doubt that creeps in. So yes, to answer your question, what I would do in looking for a business partner is someone whose goals mirror my own, whose energy matches my own, whose vision is like my own or greater, and who has a strong understanding of who they are and what they bring to the table. So when we sit down, we can actually sift through what we both have and how we can benefit each other. And also someone who's understanding that a partnership is a mutuality thing. If you don't understand that, then you can't have a partnership and you want to have dominion. I found it nearly impossible to get another person interested in starting a business with me. Well, then that means you need to check the circles that you're in. Because there's always people looking to do business if there's an opportunity to make money, if it's a sound idea. There's people that spend a good portion of their lives just looking for the next great whatever. So it's not impossible. And if it has been impossible to this point, then you might need to check the circles that you're traveling in and what you're actually asking from the people that you want to do business with. There's a lot there. So there's a lot to that onion that you laid on the table. But there's a lot that you would have to look at first to be able to figure it out. Need people who keep you in check and let you know, yes, you have to. I appreciate it here on Scopes. And keep those hearts going, by the way. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the hearts. And let's share this out so individuals that might need this information can get it and know that we're here. So if they need to come over and hear some of what we're doing, feel free to pass that on. Share it out to your folks on Twitter. Share it out to your other followers. And if you're on your iOS device, share it out to your folks on Facebook or whatever. But you need people that's going to keep you on track. And I think what's interesting, I was just having a conversation with a person that I mentor with. And him and I have a fantastic relationship. And we were just talking about Shark Tank. And I believe shows like Shark Tank, hello from Scotland, hello from New York. I believe shows like Shark Tank, Undercover Boss should be required watching for teenagers and young adults. Because there's so much to learn of what's needed in business, as well as watching how business owners on such high levels have no idea what's going on in some of their companies, or how some people carry on when they don't know the boss is around. And it's great to know because it actually helps to show a fantastic picture of what things could be and how things really are. And with Shark Tank, I find it interesting because before they even get into the money, they want to know what you've done, what's your business before they're going to give you money. And I think that's so important. Is you can't come to someone and say, please give me, and in business anyway, and not have an idea, a plan, or results, or numbers to support why you want this money. And I think that's so important. I think folks really need to understand that, because folks will say, come on in on this on with me. Okay, what's the prospectus of this? What do you mean? What's the possible outcome? What's the possible losses? Let's sit down and what's going to be needed. And here you're sitting in front of millionaires, and in some cases, I think there's 2 billionaires that sit on that show that are saying, I have what you need, which is my money. But before I give it to you, you need to show me how I'm going to make money, and why should I give it to you? And we all, as independent business folks, have been taught, be prepared for that elevator moment, that 2 to 3 minute moment of when you need to express yourself. You're taught that when going on interviews. You're taught that when being able to talk about yourself. You got to do the same thing with your business. What's that 2 to 3 minute pitch that's going to make somebody go, I might need to hear more. Continue to speak. Because remember, if you're the person needing the money, well, we know what your need is. You need their money. But how do they make money? If they give you what you want, what do they get back? And so often, people don't know how that's tied into their personal life. See, I live that way. If I'm asking you for something, I'm explaining to you what you're getting. I'm going to tell you why I'm asking for it. Now, if you go, how do I benefit from it? I'm going to give you an answer. Now, you might not like the answer, but I'm going to give you an answer. Be prepared to offer an answer. Because you shouldn't want to take something from somebody just for the sake of taking. And in business, it's got to be mutual. That doesn't mean the profits are always going to be mutual. Let's keep it right. That's the reason why percentages are put into place. So if you ever listen to the guys on Shark Tank, I'm doing good. If you ever listen to the guys on Shark Tank, you'll hear, I'll give you this, but I want 30%. I want 40%. And depending on how profitable they believe the item, the target, you don't understand me? Okay, well, continue to listen for a while. You will. Depending on how profitable the item is that you're trying, or the product or the business that you're trying to get them to invest in, they start to argue with each other over how they're going to help you. You just have to be prepared on what decisions that you're planning on making on your business. And I think it's also interesting when you'll get a couple of offers where a person will say, I'll give you this and I want all the rights to the business. And you see people actually start to think, wow, I've invested so much into this. Am I willing to sell out for the money right now, or hold out and just go into business with these individuals and see where it can take me? And that's a decision that you have to make too. Especially as authors, producers, or whatever. Someone may come and say, I want your whole catalog, and here's what I'm willing to pay you for it. Yes, no sales history, no investment, without question. And many of us need to have that. What can you show that you've done that with their money is going to get better? Who wants to throw money down into a well and never see it again? And I think that is so crucial, especially for young adults, so that conversation can be had at an early age. So in a fictitious way, we can actually start to kind of fantasize about businesses that need to be created, especially for young adults, middle school, high school age kids. So now maybe their college choices is different. Maybe some of them don't go to college and choose trades that's going to fit the fictitious business that they created in school. You don't know. Because not everyone has to go to college to be able to be successful and be wealthy. You have to be able to have a talent and a skill, or be able to produce products that people want and enjoy, and they'll pay you for it. Now, going to college will help in some cases, depending on what you put in and what you get out. But the idea is you still have to create sound business and have something that is worthy to be invested in. Now, back to the point of the scope. Hello. Is that You need to have the people around you who, when doubt comes in, are going to be there for you. And everything that we're talking about at some point or another is going to create doubt. You're going to have failures. And from those failures, you may decide, hello, I'm from New York, welcome, from Russia. You have to decide if you're going to get back in this game. Well, having positive people around you might be the thing that's needed for you to get back into this game. Having people around you that's going to be able to say, hey, listen, you know why you got into this, let's go. Who remind you of the sales, who remind you of the hurdles that you've already climbed over. You need that. And sometimes it's the people who are just in your life. Wife, children, best friends, whoever. Just recently, it was one of the parents of one of my students who told me how much her daughter just appreciates what I do. And I was like, thank you. And I needed that. And I was like, cool. Was I in Harlem? I used to teach in Harlem, yes. A few years back. Now I'm teaching in Brooklyn. And I needed that. And that little motivation let me go, okay, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But I don't need much motivation to teach. I love teaching. I do. But I'm at the point where I want to do something different. 20 years of being an educator has been fun. But I'm currently studying, working on my second master's degree because I want to do something else. And then I also run my own service company. That's the literary service company, publishing company, which provides the services for authors. So I also do that. So I wear a lot of hats. And that's another reason why I cannot surround myself with people who are negative. I cannot surround myself with people who waste time. Well, I think Big L has passed, but I don't know what that has to do with what we're talking about. But okay, Big L is no longer with us. Been gone for some time now. And then hello from Russia. But, and these are the things that you have to consider. So, to tie everything together, in whatever business that you're in, private or public, or if you're in business for yourself, you have to have the people around you who are going to continue and remain positive for when you come up with those days you have doubts. Do not have people around you who are just yes people who are going to yes you to death and just tell you everything's going to be okay when it may not. And make sure you have people who have vision, who are focused, who are not scared to say to you, I just don't see it. Because by holding you accountable and by telling you they don't see it and they're cool with you, they may be speaking for folks that later on, the music question, anyway, and it's funny, I got to start reading some stuff. You really have to think about what they say because it may be an opportunity to discuss something that later on could cost you money. Because if the people in your camp can't see it and need you to explain it, you might be sitting with somebody who's ready to invest who can't see it either. And you might need to clear that up and make sure that the clarity is apparent. So when you have the opportunity to have someone in front of you who could sign a check to support you because they trust that they're going to get their money back and some profit. Because remember, it's not just about breaking even. Some people will want to see what's the projected profit margin, not what's the projected, I'll get my dough back. No, it is what is the projected profit margin. And you need to be able to have some idea of what is going to be made. What's the potential? Now, there's no guarantees in anything, and anybody that does business knows that. But a person at least likes to know, well, when you say going into debt, if you're sinking everything that you have into going into business, yes, the potential is there, but you have to, that comes down to your belief in the business itself. Many people have placed all that they have into their business and trusted it to pay off, and it didn't. Many have done it and it has paid off. So there's no way to answer that question. It's your talents. I'm sorry if I can't speak slowly. I'm not going to speak slow. You got to catch up. You can always go back and watch the replay, which will make it a little bit easier. I'm sorry. But I'll see what I can do. But yeah, we're going into debt. it's again the gamble. How do you see the gamble? No one can answer that question for you. Is the business that you're going into sound? Is the perspective sound? Is the future of it something that's worthwhile? And if you believe it, you have to take the shot. But understand that taking a shot could cost you everything. And I've been there. I have had a lot invested into my business. And there's been some times when people didn't pay me what was owed, that I had to sit here and debate whether I wanted to go to small claims court to just try to get a judgment. It wasn't guaranteed I was going to get my money back. And I had to take that loss. And when you take that loss, it is not a great feeling, but you know what? It pushes you back. And sometimes you may lose more than you plan on losing because you have more tied into it than you thought. But those are all the decisions that a person has to consider. Live in New York without education. I don't understand the question. There's two verbs there. Really live, what does that mean? You have to ask that question again. You can live anywhere with no education. The question is, how are you feeding yourself? How are you taking care of yourself? How are you surviving? So education, it all depends on what type of education you're talking about. Formal education in terms of college or education in general. So you have to rephrase that question for me to be able to answer that. So again, guys, I hope that as you listen to the things that I'm saying, that you consider who you have around you. Consider what role they play. Hello from Russia. Consider what role they play. And do you have enough people around you who are strong and positive, who are going to be there when you're not at your strongest, who are going to be there when you're not feeling it, who's going to prevent you from walking out the door? All right. That's what you have to consider. Are they going to be strong enough to stand up to you and let you know when they believe you're wrong? And again, the final decision is always yours. But have people that you trust in your camp. Have people, and for me, Keisha Green, and there's quite a few others who I turn to. And like I say, currently right now, her and I are working on some things. No, I do not. And we're working on some things. Woodbridge, New Jersey, May 14th. Seats are going fast. I think there's only 5 or 6 seats left for that event. You have to, let's see, Keisha Green online at yahoo.com. If you want to reach out to get more information, tell her that you're interested in the chat and chew. I believe it's $40, but with the $40, you get a copy of one of my books. You're going to get a meal, as well as the swag bags alone is going to be worth the money that you're laying out, as well as we'll sit down and have a conversation for a couple hours and really get to know each other, which is going to be fun. I promise you, I'm a fantastic host. All depends. Each person is different. If that's what you want. I don't look at anything that's not interesting to me, even if it has tremendous potential. If it's not interesting to me, I don't bother with it. But each person focus and each person's tolerance is different. You have to make whatever decision works for you. If that's the area that you want to go into, by all means, just do your research. But definitely, May 14th, Woodbridge, New Jersey, Longhorn Steakhouse. Make sure you reach out to Keisha Green at Keisha Green online at yahoo.com. Or she's on Facebook, she's on Twitter, she's on all social networks. That is May. In June 4th, I'll be in Detroit at Wayne State University. I'll be speaking there. Shout out to Otis Bellinger. Greatness in You here on Periscope. He does his Periscopes daily. And he's about building relationships as well as building young men of color. And so I am traveling to Detroit at his request to come help and work on building relationships in the D. Can't wait to be there. So that is June 4th at Wayne State University. Later that month, I'm doing the Positively Dover Festival, which I did 4 or 5 years in a row. I think I missed last year, and I can't wait for that simply because 2 weeks later, I will be moving to Dover, Delaware. So Positively Dover at the end of the month, I believe it's June 25th or 26th, whatever that Saturday is, last Saturday of the month. July 16th, I'll be in Chicago for a book fest, Saturday, July 16th, but I'll be signing books July 15th at APS Books and More. That Friday and that Sunday, the book event, Chicago book event, book fair is that Saturday. and I cannot wait for that either. So got a few things, and then I have another book event, AFRAM Festival in Seaford, Delaware, in August. I believe it's August 8th. And I am filling up my calendar with other things going on. So definitely check me out. Oh, turn my phone off. It's my son. I'll call him back. But definitely got some things going on. And so let me just go through real quick who I am. I am author KLBELVIN. I am the author of a poetry book, Man in Transition, which was my very first book. My memoir, From Gigolo to Jesus, my second book. And my most recent book, inspirational fiction called Lukewarm Saint. I have been a part of or contributed to 6 different anthologies, won an award winner in 2009. So those are all on my websites, www.bravenpublishing.com. I am a motivational, no, you know what? I take that back. I am a speaker, mentor, educator, father, husband, and man of God. And all those things are intertwined. And I am a counselor, so I do private counseling also with young men, older men, women. I really don't like to counsel children unless their parents are involved, because that's not really my thing. I already teach. I've been teaching 20 years, but if I'm going to counsel with a child, I want the parents present because I need to see the interaction between the child and the parent. So I don't do children counseling alone. I do it with the parent involved. And like I said, I have some positive people around me, and I make sure I lean on them when I need to. So I hope that this has been interesting to you. I hope that you enjoyed yourself. Feel free to share. If you come back and watch on replay, you can still heart it up on replay. And again, look for me at those dates and those locations. Cannot wait. I almost forgot. Also, in June 4th at the Building Better Relationships. Well, first of all, I don't like hearing anyone use the word because the history behind that word is ridiculous. So I don't want to hear old or young folks use it because the term has nothing to do with color. And we have seemed to reduce that word to color. And it doesn't make any sense because it's not connected to color. It's connected to level of intelligence. And the fact that old or young, black or whoever uses it out of context is ridiculous. Okay, it's still wrong. Whether it was 71, 19, 1650, it doesn't make no difference. It's still wrong and it shouldn't be used. And if people want to use it, that's their business. I choose not to, and I don't see the importance of the word. But if folks want to, that's their business. But again, if you're watching on replay, thank you so much. And again, you can reach me if you want to reach out to me directly. Main office at bravenpublishing.com. That's main office at BRAVIN publishing.com. And that is also my website, bravenpublishing.com. And I appreciate all you guys have come on. I appreciate the comments. I will go back to look at the comments and send direct messages to all of the folks that have been on. Also, let me give a big shout out to all of the folks who come on with the ridiculous things that they say or do. I appreciate you. And I'm going to tell you why. And I know it's kind of crazy. Some people say, why do you shout out the haters or shout out the trolls? I appreciate the trolls because you're teaching me how to be able to give the content without getting wrapped up in the foolishness that you're writing, which helps me when I do public speaking, which helps me when I'm doing other scopes. So I definitely want to give shout out to the trolls because you've also taught me how to continue doing and speaking on what I'm speaking while hitting that block button all at the same time. So you've actually been also. And to everyone else, thank you so much for taking the time out to spend this couple of minutes with me. Please share. And if you need to reach out to me, I'm around. Take care. God bless.